Alrighty, honor students, good morning. So here's what you are doing today. Basically, on our agenda, it says that you are going to investigate a set of slave narratives from a hyperdoc so that I can gather evidence I may use later on to write my essay with. All right, so you're watching this quick instructional video now on how to go through the process. You are going to get a pink grid. Mine is white because this is the original, but it is called the Slave Narratives Evidence Grid, so yours is pink, so you'll get a copy of that in just a minute. And then you need to go into Google Classroom and open up the Slave Narratives Hyperdoc in just a moment, once I'm done with this demo, and then you get started. You're going to try to complete the front half of this sheet today, okay? So you're going to look at one source, one slave narrative of your choosing, and then you'll look at a second one, alrighty? So let's go ahead and take a look at your materials. So in just a moment, you're going to take out your Chromebook and get your pink evidence grid and get set on that, right? Your goal today is to use your evidence grid to gather evidence on the left. You make inferences in the center, show your thinking, and then you're trying to get to what are those truths that the slave narratives reveal. So very similar to yesterday's work, right? Except now you have a choice and you're looking through the entire narratives that you choose, the entirety of them. Alrighty, so our final step, this is going to be due on Thursday at the end of class, by the way. So you're aiming for 2 today, and then the back sheet tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll do a third one from the hyperdoc, and then you'll get your book back for Frederick Douglass, so you can go ahead and get your evidence from the book that you're choosing as well. So what your hyperdoc looks like, guys, first off, it is in Classroom already. It's been released to you. All right, so you'll find it in the topmost of your stream, right there, hyperdoc, slave narrative. So you'll open that up. It's your copy to work within. So here's the one for honors. Now, what you guys are going to find is when you click the picture, it will take you out to the linked source, okay? And you will read from there, and then you will write your evidence here, all right? The evidence that you think is most telling. So your choices are Equiano. We looked at him yesterday. We saw a few excerpts from his. This is a longer version, slightly longer. And then we've got Solomon Northrop and the cotton plantation work. Then we've got Harriet Jacobs. Okay, Harriet Jacobs, we saw a few lines from her yesterday as well. You have this video down here, which you can choose to watch, which does talk about several different slave narratives, so you might get some evidence from that if you're choosing to, but it's kind of like a combination of several. And then down here, we have Venture Smith describes his capture in the middle passage. So you would, again, click on the picture, go out to that link. And then you have Solomon Northrop describes a slave market. So we used a little bit from this one too. Your focus question is, what are some important truths slave narratives reveal about the institution of slavery in America? That question is also repeated on the top of your pink sheet. So we've done these before. Read these instructions. Okay, so based on the focus question, you're choosing which ones you want to do. So like, let's say if I want to do Harriet Jacobs, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to first fill the box, right? I'm going to use that fill tool to color in any box that I've completed or that I'm selecting. So I'm going to go over here to fill, and I'll change it to whatever color I like. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and click on the link and go out and take a look at the source, right? And I'm going to take notes on this handout. All right. Then once I'm done taking my notes and I have it all complete, I'm going to use the comment feature. So I'm going to select this up here. I'm going to press the plus sign to add a comment, and I'm going to go ahead and answer this two-part question here. So part A is to provide a summary. Okay. So I might say, in Harriet Jacobs' account, she discusses, and then I would go ahead and I would provide my summary, right? Just a couple of sentences. You don't have to go too crazy, maybe about 3 sentences or so, all right? Just include those things that are most important that she talks about in there to really capture the essence of it, all right? And then part B, how does this source help you to answer the focus question? So I might say, the truths that are revealed in Harriet Jacobs' narrative are, and then I would state what they are and briefly explain. Okay? So that's how that works. Make sure that you press comment to make it stick, and then you move on and you choose your next one. Okay? So just don't forget the 2 parts of each question, and remember, you're only doing 3 from the hyperdoc, so you choose which 3 are most interesting to you and which ones you think are going to help you to answer this question best. Alrighty? And that's going to be due on Thursday. So, let's see here. Also, where it has 1, 2, and 3, please on your sheet, on your grid, make sure to indicate which ones you're going to do. So for me, for number 1, the first one I went ahead and tackled was Harriet Jacobs, so I would write her name in there. And so Harriet Jacobs, I might also write it down on just sideways on this column. And then I want to have probably about 4 or 5 pieces of evidence that I'm going to put into this box here. Across here, I want to say, what does the evidence show or suggest? So these are my inferences. And then finally, I might just have 1 or 2 truths that I'm writing down over here. So based on all of this thinking that I've done, what are a couple of truths? And of course we know, yes, was slavery horrendous? Absolutely. You want to try to dig a little deeper though and say, what do these narratives really show about slavery, okay, or about the institution of slavery? And that's it, guys. So just keep in mind, for tomorrow, if you didn't quite finish the 2 sources on the narratives, or the narratives on the hyperdoc, whatever, if you didn't finish that up today on your grid, and then on the hyperdoc, please make sure that you walk in tomorrow with those 2 sources complete, and your life will be much happier for tomorrow. All right? Best of luck.